She was standing on my land with a clipboard in her hand, barking orders like she owned the valley. "This creek is a violation of HOA standards," Karen snapped, waving at the workers behind her. Before I could even step off my porch, they were already backing up trucks, tilting chutes, and pouring wet concrete straight into the flowing water. My creek, the same one that had run through my family's property for generations, was turning into a gray tomb right before my eyes. I shouted, "You can't do that! This creek is protected land." But Karen only smirked, folding her arms, like she was enjoying every second of my anger. "You don't make the rules here," she said coldly. "We do. And if you keep talking, I'll have the HOA fine you out of this neighborhood." Neighbors started gathering, some whispering, some filming, but no one dared to stop her. The sound of water choking under the cement filled the air, and all I could do was stand there, fists clenched, knowing that if I moved too fast, she'd twist it against me. But deep down I wasn't panicking, because Karen had no idea what she'd just done. She thought she was burying my creek to prove her power, but in reality, she'd just set her own people up for disaster, and I was going to let her learn the hard way. Viral line. She thought she was killing my creek, but she was drowning her own homes. The first heavy rain came only 2 weeks later. I was sipping coffee on my porch when I heard the rumble of thunder. Then the downpour started. At first it was just a normal summer storm, until I noticed the water pooling near the road, refusing to drain. The creek that once carried rainwater away was gone, placed by a wall of hardened concrete. Within minutes, the streets in front of the luxury homes started to look like rivers. Neighbors rushed outside, rolling up their pants, yelling in panic as water rose over their driveways. Karen came running too, holding an umbrella that flipped inside out in the wind. She screamed at her board members, "Why isn't the drainage working? Someone fix this now." But there was no fixing it. Water had nowhere to go. It was climbing into garages, seeping under doors, swallowing their perfect lawns. One man tried to start his car, but the engine sputtered and died under the flood. Another woman shouted at Karen, "You did this. You filled the creek." Karen's face went pale. She glanced toward my porch, saw me standing there calm, and snapped, "This is HIS fault. He sabotaged us." She pointed at me, trying to turn. The crowd against me, but all they could see was the truth rising around their ankles. Water where it never should have been. And I wasn't even moving. I just stood with my arms crossed, watching their million-dollar home sink, knowing that nature was exposing her lie for me. By the second day of flooding, chaos had taken over the neighborhood. Pickup trucks were stuck in mud. Kids were being carried on shoulders to avoid the filthy water. The so-called luxury homes were surrounded by knee-deep swamp. The HOA board members huddled on Karen's porch, arguing in whispers. But the crowd was no longer whispering. They were shouting, "Who's paying for this damage?" One neighbor yelled, "My basement is destroyed." Another woman held up her phone, showing a video of the exact moment Karen ordered the concrete to be poured. The comments online were already vicious, and the clip was spreading like wildfire. Karen tried to keep control, shouting back, "That video is out of context." She jabbed her finger toward me again, forced this situation. "He's been trying to sabotage us for months." I finally walked closer, my boots splashing in the water. Every eye turned my way, and I spoke just loud enough for the cameras rolling around me. "Funny how you blame me. When it was your trucks pouring concrete, your orders, your signature." The crowd erupted. Some demanded refunds from the HOA. Others called for resignations. Karen's voice cracked as she shouted, "I'll call the cops. He's trespassing." That's when I pulled out a folded stack of papers from my jacket, her eyes locked on, the seal at the top, and her confidence drained. She hadn't known the full story. She thought I was just a quiet landowner she could push around, but I wasn't. Karen's hands trembled when she saw the documents, but she tried to laugh it off. "What is this supposed to be? Another fake claim? You can't scare me with paperwork?" she barked, though her voice cracked halfway through. I unfolded the top sheet slowly, letting the crowd glimpse the bold header. County Water Authority, Protected Waterway Permit. Gasps rippled through the neighbors. "This creek," I said, holding the paper high, "isn't just mine. It's a legally protected water channel. Anyone who interferes with it is liable for state and federal charges. Phones went up. Instantly, recording every word. Karen's smirk vanished. She stuttered, No, that's not possible. The HOA rules override HOA rules. Cut her off, stepping closer so she had nowhere to hide. HOA rules don't override state law, and they definitely don't override the Clean Water Act. The neighbors started murmuring louder this time, throwing questions at her. Did you know this? You destroyed protected land? Are we going to be fined too? Karen spun around, desperate. He's lying, he forged that. Someone call the cops. And just as if the universe was waiting for her words, flashing red and blue lights appeared at the end of the flooded street. 2 cruisers pulled up, tires hissing in the water. The officers stepped out, looking around at the mess, then at Karen, who was already waving them over, screaming, Arrest him! He's the criminal here. But the officer's gaze shifted from her to the papers in my hand. The taller officer took the papers from my hand, scanning them carefully, while the other one walked over to the neighbors, asking questions. Karen kept pacing in the water, her voice shrill. Don't waste time reading that garbage. The one ruining this neighborhood, look at what he did to our homes. The officer finally looked up at her, his tone calm but sharp. Ma'am, according to this, the HOA authorized construction on a protected waterway. That's a serious violation. Karen froze. No, you don't understand. We were fixing his property to fit HOA standards. I couldn't help but let out a low laugh. Fixing it. By burying a creek with cement, you didn't fix anything. It caused this flood. The neighbors backed me up immediately. Phones were shoved in the officer's face, replaying the viral video of Karen giving the order. Dozens of voices shouted at once. She told them to pour it. She ruined everything. She lied to us. Karen's mask slipped. Her voice turned desperate, almost begging. Listen, I was only protecting the value of our homes. He was refusing to cooperate with the HOA, and I had to act. The officer raised a hand. Ma'am, you need to stop talking. You've admitted. Enough already. He turned to me, softer now. Sir, you have ownership and legal permits. We'll be filing a full report. Karen's face went white. She reached for one of the cop's sleeves like a drowning woman clinging to a lifeline. No, please. You don't understand. I am the HOA. I make the rules here. The officer calmly pulled his arm away. Not anymore.